And the first thing, as we talk through how pastors can have a healthy ministry life balance, and it almost feels simple, but we're going to share it for a reason, and that's practice spiritual disciplines. I think we can become so busy in life that we fail to pray, to read, to fast, to practice silence and meditation. And it's the same with ministry. I think that some people believe, as a pastor, you could never fail to do those things. But as a pastor, it's true that sometimes you don't. And I think it's so important that you put that into your schedule, that you mark that out. You say, okay, I'm going to have a silent retreat, or I'm going to have an hour of silence, or I'm going to have an hour of meditation. I'm going to take time to pray. That's so important. And if you're too busy to do that, you're probably always going to find yourself burnt out. So you've got to find a way to structure your schedule to fit in, to fit around the spiritual disciplines. So that would be our first secret or tip for you today.
Yeah, and let's be honest, if you're a pastor and you've been preaching for a long time, I think it's really easy, right, to make your devotional time sort of hybrid, right? It turns into sermon prep time. I'm the same way. When I was pastoring and I was preaching regularly, it was hard for me to just maintain that devotional time, because you see a verse and it like means something to you, and you have a moment, or you're meditating on it, or maybe you feel like Holy Spirit speaking something to you, and then all of a sudden it turns into like, man, this sermon could go here and I could do this. I think it's important. That happens, right? But I think it's important that you still maintain that personal devotional time. Me as an entrepreneur, I struggle, right? I told my wife I don't have hobbies, because everything turns into a business idea, right? I just can't enjoy things for what they are. There's always that next step for them. And I think just maintaining some discipline in your personal devotional time, in those spiritual disciplines, is going to greatly help you as you're trying to balance everything that's going on in this chaos. There's a time for sermon prep and there's a time for personal devotion. Sometimes those times overlap, but try to keep them separate if possible.
Yeah, I think that's super important. And I do think that some of the best sermons find their seed or their genesis in your devotional time.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't approach our devotional time and say, I'm doing this because I've got to prepare for a sermon. So prayer, meditation, silence.
Absolutely.
When we talk about spiritual disciplines a lot, Justin, it's easy to just talk about prayer and Bible reading, but the silence, meditation, those fast things, it's just very important. Those are very, very important.